Hi, it's Ashleigh from Sweet Dreams Bake Shop, and welcome back to my channel where I make a lot of cake and cookie decorating tutorials as well as give a lot of baking business tips. And today we are back at Happy Cakes where they're going to be showing us all of the pre-packs that they made for this Valentine's Day. Now this bakery makes approximately 3,400 regular-sized cupcakes as well as 1,200 mini cupcakes just for Valentine's Day weekend. But of course, I just filmed a short segment for you so you could see what actually goes into the pre-packs themselves. Now, Rachel tries to make sure that everything is super fresh, so we're just doing the pre-packs that were due for this particular morning. And I got up very early to come and film this. She had a lot of things on the go, custom cakes that are still going on, plus the cakes for the case for Valentine's Day weekend, as well as all of the store cupcakes. So firstly, all of the flavors in the pack are a mix of red velvet, chocolate, and vanilla with varying types of buttercream. I believe right here we have white vanilla buttercream, and then there's also raspberry and strawberry that's going to be featured later on in the video. And here at Happy Cakes, they either like to stick to a round tip or a classic 1M tip, which is basically a star tip. I've noticed with a lot of Rachel's pre-packs, she tends to like to do some variation of this design. It's basically a giant rosette in the center, and then it's paired with some sort of multi-star tip, and then we're adding on the leaves with this simple leaf tip. Moving along to the next step, this is 3 rosettes all put together, and sometimes I forget just how quickly Rachel can pipe, so it's a little bit tricky sometimes to keep up with her when it comes to filming. I thought I would give you 2 viewpoints here. Basically, she's doing the exact same thing on the vanilla cupcake version, but the vanilla cupcakes are done in real time, and of course, our chocolate ones are a little bit sped up. When I was first trained on how to ice cupcakes, I found this really tricky because, of course, everybody has different ways of piping and you get kind of used to your own way of doing things. One of the biggest things they talked about was making sure that you have proper coverage of the cupcake, but not putting too much on, and it also mattered the amount of swirls that you did on the cupcake as well. Let me know down in the comments below, do you like a lot of frosting, a little bit of frosting, or somewhere in the middle on your cupcakes? I personally prefer ganache or mousse when possible, but when I'm in the mood for buttercream, I just like a tiny amount on there with a lot of sprinkles. Later on in the video, I try to recreate these cupcake designs myself, so be sure to stick around for that to see how I do. After those flower cupcakes were done, we're moving on to a round tip. These are going to get a nice chocolate drizzle on them, and watching Rachel do this in real time is actually super satisfying. After melting in that chocolate, she takes her piping bag. These actually aren't tipless piping bags, but I find with chocolate it really doesn't matter. You can just cut off a little bit of the tip and then go ahead and do your drizzle. I know I sped this up for video purposes, but it really happened quite quickly in person as well. Now it's time for the sprinkle mix. I always am jealous of all the sprinkles that Rachel has, and she has them in bulk. It's just so satisfying to look at, and she is being quite generous with these sprinkles. I believe in the pack, these are the only cupcakes that have this sprinkle mix on it. And going back in with the 1M tip, she's going to put these little swoops on top, and every single one of these is going to be adorned with a nice fondant heart. And all of the fondants that you see in today's video are created beforehand so that they have time to dry. And these next cupcakes here are going to have a fondant plaque on top of them. So in theory, the top portion doesn't matter so much, but of course you are going to see this design from the side. So it's still important to make sure that all of them are nice and uniform. And again, we're looking at coverage, making sure that nearly the whole cupcake is completely filled in on the top. When I was looking at some cake decorating websites, I saw a lot of these on there. They're becoming more and more popular. I believe this particular one was purchased from a Vancouver-based company that creates these types of fondant cutters. Now, I didn't ask for clarification, but I'm assuming no Tylose powder was used with these, but if I were making these and I needed them to be done quickly, I would add some Tylose powder to that fondant. Moving along to a very popular cupcake flavor, the red velvets. And of course, you have to have these in a Valentine's Day pack for sure. I left all of this piping in real time because something is so satisfying about watching the cream cheese frosting go on. It's just so puffy and it's so white and it's very light. After all of the red velvets are piped, then Rachel is going to go ahead and add on a bunch of these red sprinkles. I believe when she actually has these in store as well, she also puts those sprinkles on there. And of course, you have to have this really cute, adorable heart too. Really just sells that Valentine's Day feel. And here are all of the finished cupcakes. I think one of my favorites are these right here. I just love how fun and punchy they are. And of course, like I mentioned earlier, I love cupcakes that have sprinkles on them. And here we have our red velvets. Again, I just am a sucker for that pure white frosting. In just a few moments, I'm going to show you how Rachel packaged all of these up and her little system for doing so. But firstly, of course, it is my turn to go ahead and start piping these cupcakes. So I left one of the cupcakes out because, of course, that one is going to be piped with a round tip and it needs a chocolate drizzle, which I can't do in the box. This first cupcake here made me feel very nervous. When it's a round tip, I just find that I don't have as much control with it because it really is all about that even pressure. I think I did all right, maybe a little bit too much frosting in comparison to the way that Rachel covers hers. And now it's time to use that round tip again. This is not cream cheese frosting though, so it feels a little bit more controlled. I added down that chocolate drizzle and got to do my favorite part, which is put on all of these sprinkles. Being very careful when I'm doing it in the box like this because I don't want any of those excess sprinkles going everywhere in the box and making it messy. Putting on that little swirl and giving it a little heart. I feel pretty confident with rosettes in general, so I wasn't as nervous for this cupcake. And then going ahead and star tipping this as well. Again, these tend to look a little bit different than Rachel's. I feel like even when you try to emulate somebody else, it's bound to look a little bit different. And then I went ahead and added those leaves, and I get to go ahead and add on that fondant piece, which is one of my favorite parts too. I just love adding on the extra little goodies. It just feels very, very satisfying. Going in ahead with these rosettes, making sure that I'm overlapping them properly and making sure that we're getting that coverage that I talked about earlier. And I must say, it doesn't matter how many times I've iced cupcakes before, whenever I'm doing it for Happy Cakes or for somebody else and they want it a very specific way, I am very, very slow because I'm trying to make sure that I'm getting in every detail.
Okay, Rach, how did I do?
You're hired.
Thank goodness I have a job here anytime I want. I used to come back to Happy Cakes and work here in the summers really just for fun because was already working full time, but I always wanted to come back to Happy Cakes for fun. Now that I have kids, I can't really come and work here in the summer, so this is good too though, getting to come and film. So basically, Rachel's system is that she has everything lined up, and I am sure there were more hectic times than this. I think because this was so early in the morning, there was just a few staff in, so it was fairly calm in the back, and we were able to film this at a fairly leisurely pace. However, I am sure that there were other days on this weekend where things were a lot busier. Packaging always seems to take such a long time for every baker that I know, but here we are finally on the last box. And these turned out so beautiful, and I was so happy that the sun came up when we were done all of this so that I could take these in the natural light. Now let's get into the pricing for these cupcakes. Now all of these were a pre-order and only a stock order, so they came exactly as is for $25 Canadian. Now, there is so much more that goes on at Happy Cakes during Valentine's Day weekend, so please go on over to Ashleigh's channel, Cake Legend, on YouTube. It'll be down in the description box below if you want to see what other things Happy Cakes does during this time. Now let's get into the subscriber submission of the video. I absolutely love these Valentine's Day treats, and what an appropriate video to be able to share these on. Be sure to go and check them out and drop them a like and drop them a comment. And if you want to be the next subscriber submission of the video, then please follow me at SD Bake Shop on Instagram, where you can either tag me in a photo or send me a photo. Any and all dessert levels are welcome. And on my Instagram, I make a lot of reels. I give a lot of updates on there that I don't necessarily share on YouTube, so I hope to see you there. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you can be part of the Sweetie fam. Right now, I'm uploading weekly, so make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when I upload. Also, be sure to comment, request, or ask a question. I love hearing from you guys. Bye!